Okay, so you know how you sent over that CineTalks review for Officer on Duty,
Yeah.
that Malayalam action thriller? Yeah, that's what we're diving into today.
Mhm.
Their take on it, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. The whole shebang.
Right, right. Officer on Duty. It hit theaters February 20th, 2025. Then boom, Netflix March 20th, same year.
Yeah, I saw that.
And get this, right off the bat, it's on Netflix in like a bunch of languages, Malayalam obviously, but also Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, even Canada. They were going for a wide audience right from the start. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And CineTalks seemed to think that was deserved. They mentioned it did really well in theaters, lots of positive buzz. And that probably helped it land on Netflix, I guess.
Yeah, probably. Makes sense.
So what are we doing today? We're going to figure out what made this film click with people, critics, the audience, everybody. See if it's worth your time, basically.
Exactly. Should you watch it? We'll find out.
Okay, let's jump in. So first things first, who's the main guy?
All right, so the film centers around this police officer, Shankar. And he's played by Kunchacko Boban. Brilliantly, I might add. But here's the twist. We don't meet him at the peak of his career, right? He's actually been demoted. Starts as a deputy superintendent of police, DYSP. That's a pretty high rank. But then gets knocked down to circle inspector because of some disciplinary issue. So we're not meeting him at his best.
Interesting. So right away, there's that question, what happened? Why'd he get demoted?
Exactly. Adds a bit of mystery right from the start.
And then what's the case he's working on? So it's kind of small time, right?
Yeah, the initial case is almost like a footnote. CineTalks mentions this guy, Chandra Babu, a KSRTC conductor. KSRTC, that's the state-run bus service in Kerala, just FYI. And he's trying to pawn off a fake gold chain. Doesn't sound like a huge deal.
Yeah, pretty mundane, like everyday police stuff.
Right, exactly. But, and this is where it gets interesting, this tiny little case, it blows up into this massive conspiracy.
Oh, I see. So it's like that classic thing, start small, get bigger.
Precisely. CineTalks really emphasized that. It's like pulling a thread and then whoosh, this whole web of counterfeit jewelry, murders, it all comes unraveling. And guess what? It all ties back to something in Shankar's past. Some personal tragedy.
Wow, okay, so now it's not just a case, it's personal. Stakes are higher.
Way higher. And of course you need a good bad guy, right? Enter Christy Savio, played by Vishak Nair. He's the mastermind behind all the shady stuff. CineTalks makes it clear he's the one pulling the strings.
And they said he actually threatens Shankar directly
Uh...
to back off.
Oh, yeah, straight up tells him to drop the investigation, which, raises the stakes even more. You've got Shankar dealing with his own issues, his past, his anger, and now this guy's threatening him. But he's still determined to find the truth. It's a real clash of wills.
I can see that. So we've got our hero, our villain, the case, the personal connection. And CineTalks was gushing about the performances. They said the acting is top-notch.
Oh, yeah, they went on and on about it, especially Kunchacko Boban as Shankar. They said it's like a career-defining performance. He brings so much depth to the character. He's battling his inner demons, this simmering rage, but also this determination to do what's right. It's pretty intense.
Sounds like it. And what about Shankar's wife, Geetha? What's her role in all of this?
Right, so she's played by Priyamani, and CineTalks pointed out how she adds this emotional layer to the film. She's supportive of Shankar, but she's also worried about him, seeing him go down this dark path. It adds a human touch to the story.
Yeah, that makes sense. You need that balance. Can't be all action and grit all the time.
Absolutely. And this is where it gets a bit unexpected. Remember that KSRTC conductor, Chandra Babu? The one with the fake chain?
Yeah, what about him?
CineTalks mentioned that his role becomes much bigger than you'd initially think. He's not just some random side character. He ends up being pretty important to the whole investigation.
Oh, that's interesting. So they weave him into the main plot.
Yeah, very clever writing. And then, of course, there's Vishak Nair as Christy Savio, the villain. CineTalks described him as cold, ruthless, just terrifying. But it's not like an over-the-top villainy, It's subtle, menacing, which honestly can be even scarier.
Yeah, like a quiet threat is sometimes way worse.
Exactly. And they mentioned the supporting cast, too, how they all add to the realism of the film. They really create this believable world.
Okay, so great acting, compelling story. Who doesn't love that? But what else did CineTalks say about what makes Officer on Duty special?
Well, they talked about the gripping narrative, but it's not just a standard cop story. It's a mix of genres. You get the police procedural stuff, obviously, but also personal drama, psychological thriller elements. It keeps you guessing.
So it's not predictable.
Not at all. CineTalks praised the pacing, how the mystery unfolds in a way that keeps you hooked. And I think that's what a lot of thrillers are doing these days, right? Moving away from those super straightforward plots. It's more about the layers, the twists and turns, keeps things exciting.
Yeah, keeps you on the edge of your seat. And what about the action? I mean, it's an action thriller, right? Gonna have some explosions.
Oh, yeah. CineTalks talked about the high-octane action, but they specifically called it raw and realistic. They mentioned the hand-to-hand combat scenes, how they're well choreographed. It's not just mindless violence. It feels grounded.
So you really feel the impact, the struggle.
Exactly. And you know what else adds to the atmosphere? The music. CineTalks called it a haunting background score. And they're right. The music, the sound design, it all works together to build tension, especially during those investigative scenes. And when the chase scenes kick in, the music just intensifies everything.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Like, you don't always consciously notice it, but it's so important.
Absolutely. And visually, the film is stunning. CineTalks talked about the stunning cinematography, how they captured the look and feel of Ernakulam, Kerala. They use a lot of dim lighting, shadows, creating this noir vibe, which honestly is perfect for a gritty crime thriller.
Yeah, sets the mood. So any standout scenes, anything that really grabbed you?
CineTalks mentioned a couple. There's this one they called the confrontation scene, where Harishankar and Christie, the villain, face off. They said the tension is just palpable, the dialogue, the acting, everything clicks. It's like a powder keg about to explode.
Okay, that's one I gotta see. What about the other scene?
This one's called the emotional flashback. And this is where we really delve into Harishankar's past, the tragedy that's been haunting him. CineTalks described it as gut-wrenching. It adds a whole other dimension to the story, making you empathize with Harishankar even more.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about catching the bad guy. It's about his personal journey, too. Redemption, all that.
Exactly. It's a deeper story than you might expect.
So did CineTalk talk about how well the movie did? Like box office reviews, all that?
Yeah, they had a section on reviews and box office success. They said it was a commercial hit, made over 50 crore worldwide. And for a mid-budget Malayalam film, that's huge.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Definitely. And it wasn't just a box office success, it got great reviews, too. CineTalks mentioned praise for the writing, the editing, the acting, of course. It seems like it resonated with audiences and critics alike.
And then Netflix picked it up, right?
Yeah.
After the theatrical run.
Yep, that's right. CineTalks pointed that out as further proof of its popularity. It's like, it did well in theaters, got good reviews, and then Netflix snapped it up. That says a lot.
All right, so bottom line, what's the verdict? Is Officer on Duty worth watching?
CineTalks gave it a big thumbs up. They said if you like thrillers, especially ones that have some emotional depth, great acting, and some real intense action, then you'll love this.
And it's not just a mindless action flick, right? There's more to it than that.
Right. CineTalks specifically mentioned how it explores deeper themes, redemption, like you said, but also personal struggles, what it means to seek justice. It's thought-provoking.
Okay, so they basically said, go watch it.
Basically, yeah, go watch it on Netflix.
All right, so let's recap. Officer on Duty, Malayalam Jack's thriller, did great in theaters, now it's on Netflix in a bunch of languages. We've got this demoted cop, Harish Shankar, trying to solve a case that turns out to be way bigger than it initially seemed. There's a personal connection, a dangerous villain, some intense action. And on top of that, the film tackles some bigger themes, like redemption and the pursuit of justice. Critics loved it, audiences loved it, and now it's on Netflix for everyone to enjoy.
Sounds like a pretty good summary to me.
So, thinking about all that, what stands out to you the most? Is it the cop story, the personal drama, the action, or maybe those deeper themes? What's got you intrigued? As you're thinking about watching Officer on Duty, think about what aspects of this film really grab your attention. That'll make your viewing experience even more enjoyable, you know?
Yeah.
Really connect with the story.
It's like finding those elements that speak to you personally.
Exactly. All right, that's Officer on Duty. Thanks for diving in with us.
Always a pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.
If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.